Okay, so today I'm just going to show how I practice Armenian through news articles. So big disclaimer at the start. I'm not claiming to be a teacher whatsoever. I would say I'm upper intermediate or lower advanced in Armenian. So I'm just sort of showing what I do here, and hopefully, I'll try and be helpful to beginners and intermediates. Maybe even if you're Armenian, you might just find this interesting to see the process of foreigners learning your language. So, yeah, there will probably be mistakes from me, but hopefully I'll give it a good go and we'll get the gist of the article. So, here's the headline. Մեծ Բրիտանիան պատրաստ է իր զորքերը տեղակայել Ukrainայի տարածքում ստարմը. So, Miss Britannia, Great Britain, Patras is ready or prepared. Irzokera, so its troops. Terrakayel, to deploy. Ukrainiai Taraskum. Taratsk is territory, so Taraskum is in the territory. Starmer, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer. Is the chap on the right, and that's the President of Ukraine on the left. So here we have the bulk of the article. So Միացյալ Թագավորությունը պատրաստ է իր զորքերը տեղակայել Ukraini տարածքում. So we already read that bit from the headline. Ապահովելու հետագա հաշտության համաձայնագրի կատարումը. So basically saying they want to deploy the troops. They're ready to deploy their troops in the territory of Ukraine to ensure the carrying out of the upcoming peace deal. So Abahovel is to provide, talking of providing, so Hetaga is similar to Apaga, which is future, but it's more like upcoming. Hashtutian, hashed is, it's like peace, but as I understand it, it's more like recommencing friendly relations. Like if you fall out with someone and then you get back together. That's how I've sort of understood it in the past. But basically in this context, Hashtutian Hamadzona Guri, so of the peace deal or of the agreement, Kataruma. So Katarum carrying out, basically Kataruma the carrying out. Armen Pressi Bochans map. So according to the newspaper Armen Press, so yeah, Pochansum is like, you might hear it in football commentaries, like it's like a pass, but in this context it's like as with their publication or what they said, and it's got the instrumental case, so that's why it's Pochans map. Այս մասին մեծ Բրիտանիայի վարչապետ, so վարչապետ Prime Minister Keir Starmer հայտնել է The Telegraph թերթում հրապարակված իր հոդվածում. So the Telegraph, British newspaper, թերթում, newspaper, in the newspaper, հրապարակված, and that's the resultative participle of haraparakvel, so to be published. So the published ir hodvatsum in his article that was published in the Telegraph, basically. So Մեծ Բրիտանիան պատրաստ է առաջատար դեր խաղալ Ուկրաինայի անվտանգության երաշխիքների ուղղությամբ աշխատանք նարագացնելու գործում. So Great Britain is ready to առաջատար դեր խաղալ, play a leading role. So there is like a role. Առաջատար is like a leading or sort of foremost, if I understand it. Raval generally means to play. But just like in English, it's sort of got another sense in terms of to bear or to carry. So, they're talking about carrying this role, but to play this role. Ukrainայի անվտանգության երաշխիքների ուղղությամբ աշխատանքն արագացնելու գործում. So, a bit of a complex sentence, but what they're basically saying is Ukraine's safety, so anvitangutian, also of Ukraine's safety, yerashikneri. So yerashikner is like guarantees. Uhutyamp, so kind of like towards those. Uhutyamp, Uhutun is basically like direction. Ashkatank naragatsnelu gorsum, so aragatsnel is to speed up something. So they're basically saying in the process of speeding up this work or this deed. Asfume stameri hodvatsum. So Asfume, was said in his article. Sorry about the cough. Nanashele vor dar nerarume hetaga ajaxation Ukrainiայի զինված ուժերին, որի համար Մեծ Բրիտանիան արդեն պարտավորություն է ստանձնել մինչև 2030 թվականը տրամադրել տարեկան 3 միլիարդ pound sterling. So Nanashele, he noted or added, Nashel is to note or to add, for da nerarume, nerarum is to include, hetaga ajaxutun, so upcoming support, Ukrainiայի զինված ուժերին, զինված ուժեր, basically literally means armed forces. So Zinvat's armed, Uj is strength or force, Ujer, so Zinvat's Ujer's armed forces. Vorihama, for which Meծ Բրիտանիան արդեն պարտավորություն է ստանձնել, so for which they already carry the responsibility until 2030. Tramadurel is like to provide, basically, but I'm not 100% sure on the exact sense in this context. So what I do when that happens is I just double check. So I usually go onto the Armenian Wiktionary or the Bararan website. So it's there, isn't it? So it is basically to supply or to provide. Tramadurel Tarakan Yerek Miliard pound sterling. So basically to provide £3 billion sterling. Well, they say, the Armenians say funt or fount, but pound sterling. Բայց դա նաև նշանակում է, so, but that also means, so նաև also նշանակում means or signifies պատրաստակամություն, so I understand that is like willingness or will, and desire, you have ցանկություն. Ir avanda, so avand is like, I mean, I know it in the sense of deposit. So if you, as I understand it, avand denel is like to deposit in a bank. Avand denelu, so let's just double check, because I think there are probably a few different definitions for avand. Let's see. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, so let's see what they say in English. Probably cheat a bit, but yeah, contribution. So in that case, it's like contribution, basically. So Nerdnelu, Ukrainiai anvetankutian Yerashiknen apahovelu gorsum. So the provisions of the they'll contribute in terms of providing the safety guarantees in Ukraine. Anrajestutian depkum, so if necessary or in the case of necessity is more accurate. Sepakan zorken urakelov. So sepakan is like own, so one's own, to sort of emphasize that it's your own. Zorken, we know, is troops. Urakelov, so urakel, to send. And it's with the instrumental case, so with sending their own troops, basically. Haitararele, so announced. Merspetaniai Vachapeta. Starmen and Getsele, so Getsele is like added or stressed, emphasized, underlined. Vorhaskanume Britanatsi Zinsarayo, I always struggle with this word. Zinsarayo Neri Hamar Naravor Vetangi Etkapats Patas Khanat Butuna. So Stammer, he added that he understands Haskanume the responsibility Padaschanat Mutun. Hetkapvats is like a kind of phrase or collocation which means to do with or in connection with. They're saying Britanatsi Zinsarayoch Neri Hamar Hanaravod Vitangi. So the possible risk to British soldiers. Zinsarayoch Ner soldiers, or and then Hamar for Naravor possible. Vitang is danger, and they've got the genitive case. So Hetkapvats, because Hetkapvats always requires the genitive case. Patas Khamad Mutuna, so responsibility. So he's basically saying, so he stressed that he understands basically his responsibility in connection with the possible risk to British soldiers. Bites, Tsankatsats, Oknutun, Ukrainai anvetangutian apahovman hartsum oknume yerashkhavorelu martamaki yev isiekri anvetangutuna hydraelena. So this is mainly a quote. You see we've got the quote marks here. Bites, so but Tsankatsats is any. But any assistance, Oknutun is assistance. And it's one of those words in Armenian that doesn't actually quite. A lot of people will tell you that Armenian is like super phonetic. Everything is spelt exactly as it sounds, but it's not 100% the case, because you get some words, for example, like Oknutun, where you got the g, the equivalent of g, but it's more like a k, so Oknutun. But still, the spelling system is much more logical than English. Ukrainai anvetangutian apahovman hartsum oknume. So basically saying so any assistance in the question hartsum of anvetangutian apahovman hartsum, so in the question of providing safety in Ukraine, oknume helps. Yerash chavorelu, guarantee basically. Martamak, so Martamak is a continent, so he's obviously referring to Europe. Yev ice yakari anvatangutuna. So he's saying that this could help not only Ukraine but also Europe as a whole and the safety of other countries. Hydrolena announced. Stameri Katsikov, so in Stamer's opinion, Katsik opinion, Kazikov with opinion, but basically, yeah, according to Starmer, or with his opinion. Britannian Garoche Batsarik der, so kind of like exceptional role or important role. Der is role. Chagal Ukrainian Chagalutian Hasnelu Godson Tatsum. So he's saying Britain Karoge can carry an exceptional role to play in Ukraine in the kind of the process of reaching peace. So Chagalutian is peace, and it's Chagalutian, so it's of peace. Hasnalu is like reaching, and it's got, again, that's got genitive ending. Godson Tatsum, so in the process of reaching peace. Vorpes Gamor Yevropai Yev Amani Michev. So Vorpes is as, Kamoj bridge, so saying Europe and America between. So yeah, as a bridge between Europe and the United States. So here's another quote from Starmer. So Menk Petke Histak Haskanank, so we must sort of clearly understand. So Histak is clear. And sometimes you hear Histak or end, which is more in the style of an adverb, so like clearly, but the thing is with Armenian is most adjectives can just be used as adverbs anyway. So yes, you might see Histak or end, but sometimes they'll just say Histak and it can mean clear or clearly. Haskanang, so that's like the subjunctive first person plural of understand. So yeah, Petke is need, and Petke generally demands the subjunctive. So yeah, we need to clearly understand. For Chagautuna, Chi Garoch Zerk Bervel Sankatsats Gunov. So he's saying for Chagautuna, the piece Chi Garoch cannot Zerk Bervel Sankatsats Gunov. So Zerk Bervel, as I understand it, kind of means well, it's like a phrase, so as I understand it, it's sort of like bringing, but a bit more formal. Tsankatsats any Gunov with price. So I think it's basically saying that peace cannot come at any price, but I will double check on Zerk Berver because I personally am slightly unsure about that phrase. So let's see. Nivachvel. Yes, and it's more like to achieve, because Nivachel is to achieve, and they've got it in the passive with the verse. So yeah, that kind of clears it up for me. I think they're saying that peace can't be achieved with any price. I must admit, maybe there's something I'm slightly missing about that sentence. I get it, but I also don't fully get it. So any Armenians in the comments, maybe you can help me with that one. But I think what they're basically saying is we have to clearly understand that peace cannot be brought with any price. Ukrainan Petkelini Aidbanatsutuneri Sahanishur. So saying Ukraine Petkelini, so must be Aidbanatsutuneri Sahanishur. So Banatsutun is negotiation. Tuneri Sahan, so table of negotiations or negotiation table. Ishurja, so around. So Ukraine must be around that negotiation table, basically. Irhodvatsum Asere Mets Britanniai Vachapeta. So, as was said by the UK Prime Minister in an article, Vachapeti Hodvatsa Haraparakvele Parizum Haravirvats Handikman Nachashemin. So, the Prime Minister's article was published. So Haraparakel is to publish, but they've got the passive marker there. So it's like to be published, so was published. Parisum hravirvats handibman nachashemin. So Parisum in Paris, hravirvats like invited. So they're saying that he was invited to this basically. Handibman, so of the meeting, handipum is meeting. So Nachashemin is like the lead up, as I understand it. So like the lead up to something. So at the lead up basically. So Handibman Nachashemin. So this article was published in the lead up to the event in Paris that he was invited to. Vori Tehieunenalu Franciai. So Tehieunenalu is like to take place. Tehiunenal. So they're using it in the future tense here. Unenalu. Franciai, Germaniai, Italiai, Lehostani. Most of these countries you'll know, but Lehostan you might not recognize if you're perhaps a beginner or intermediate. Lehostan is what the Armenians call Poland. Ispaniai, Niderlandneri, Daniai, Evropakan Handsnajohovi, so that's European Commission. Evropakan Horuti, European Parliament, I think. Yev, NATOI, so NATO, Rekavarneri. Rekavar is like leader. Rekavarneri Masnatutiam. So with the participation of the leaders of all of those countries and organizations. Masnatutiun is participation, and the instrumental case of utiun nouns means it becomes utiamp. So Masnatutiamp. Parisi handipumits heto, so after the meeting in Paris, so handipum meeting, handipumits heto, after the meeting, so it's got the its, which is the ablative case. Kirstamere planavorume, so he intends or plans. Washingtonum handipel amnenachaga Donald Trumpihet. So handipel to meet, amnenachaga, so nachaga is president, Donald Trumpihet. So Donald Trump, and then het, so with Donald Trump. So yeah, after the meeting in Paris, Keir Starmer is planning to meet the President of the United States, Donald Trump, in Washington. And that brings us to the end of the article. So I hope you enjoyed that, found it interesting. As I say, I'm not remotely an Armenian teacher or anything. I'm just someone who studies Armenian. It's one of my passions. And yeah, I'm just sort of showing how I do things of reading articles. Yeah, this article I probably understood 95% of it, but in sort of harder articles, or in the past when I didn't have as much knowledge, I guess, the new words for me I would just make a list of and practice them afterwards. But if you keep reading the news in Armenian, you'll see some of these terms again and again. So it is a good, I found it a good way at least to get a more advanced vocabulary. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it, whether you're learning Armenian or you are Armenian or whatever. So any feedback, please leave a comment. Any ideas for future videos, please leave a suggestion. And thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.